Hey there, how's it going? So my name is Cynthia and I'm the owner and founder of Digital Bloom IQ. I'm really excited to have you here. I want to talk to you about how to create unique content that attracts your ideal audience and new clients. So I know some of you might be feeling like it's pretty impossible to create unique content nowadays. There's so much out there and it can just feel really impossible, and I hear you. But today I wanted to give you a couple tips and a couple ideas of how to do this. And I really want to get into the process that I use when it comes to generating content and really resonating with the people I'm trying to help. And when it comes to SEO, search engine optimization, creating unique content can really help you. And I don't think it's about talking about something that no one's talked about before. I think it's about showing people your take on a topic that has been talked about before, and that's what makes it unique. Your approach, your process, your style is what is going to distinguish you from your competitors and attract the right people that you're meant to help and the people that it's easy for you to help. So it really is awesome from an SEO and a Google point of view, and I think it also really complements any sort of branding that you're doing. So the first step to any change, and many of you might have guessed, but it's creating awareness about where you're at right now. So how do we create awareness about how you're speaking and how your content is sounding? You record yourself. So either audio record, or if you want to do a video, that's great too. But having this record or documentation around how you express and how you come off can really be eye-opening. So a couple weeks ago, I was editing some video content from a year ago, and I was really shocked by the language I was using and how far I've come. And so I really invite you to record yourself today, wait a week or a couple days even, and listen to that recording, go back and review that. And bonus points if you can do this with a trusted friend or someone who knows your industry. Make sure you get advice from people who are ahead of you. Look back and look at what you've created, and look at, how you speak, what language do you use, what phrases do you lean on. And this can be really interesting to see your style, and maybe there will be things that you want to change and you want to improve on. So getting that initial awareness is the first step and is a great launching point to inspire you to find your unique style and find something more defined or just different. All right, the second step is to declutter. And so what I mean by this is a lot of the times we don't realize it, but we are consuming other content either from email newsletters or what's in our social media feed, and we are copying unconsciously other people. And I know I've done this before. I just tend to absorb, and it's a good thing, but it can also hurt me because sometimes I'm not realizing it. I'm just kind of replicating a certain style. So I recommend, and this is something I do once in a while at least, is just unsubscribe from newsletters that are just not resonating with you anymore. Unfollow, just kind of clean your feed, clean your inbox, and just really be careful about who you follow and who you want, in your well of information. You don't need to follow everyone. You don't need to know everything in order to be successful and to attract new clients to your website. So I think it's about being very careful and very conscious about who you're following. And I will actually once in a while just stop following everybody, just have a clean slate. And this has been so refreshing because suddenly I can just hear myself speak and I can have my own opinions and thoughts about things. And then, of course, I have to join the real world again, but just having that clean space can be really freeing, and it can get you to discover, these deeper, maybe more unique things about you, about how you speak or how you express yourself, that then you can bring back into your content creation. All right, the third tip is creating from a fresh space. So again, this is kind of a psychological thing, but if you're used to writing or creating content from one place in your house, or maybe you go to a working space, try and change it up. So maybe go to a different room in your house. Try writing from your bathroom. Try writing from your bedroom. If you can, go to a coffee shop. Go to someone you've never been to before and create from there. And a lot of the times that new energy really just changes the ideas that go through your head, and it can change how you express and how you write things out. So this is a really interesting one because a lot of the times we just tend to create from the same area and same space, but switching it up can lead to some really cool ideas. The other thing that might jog some new ideas is actually doing mind mapping. And I've done some other articles on mind mapping, but basically it's the process of brainstorming, but in a non-linear way. So if you want to find out more about that, just Google mind map. Okay, so the fourth tip, and this one is more related to SEO, is to work from a structure. So the thing that I see a lot of my clients make a mistake in when they're trying to create content that is SEO friendly and Google friendly is they just sit down and write. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do that, I just have an idea and I start writing. But when it comes to creating SEO content, we want to have a container or a structure for our content because this is going to make it more likely to be shareable. So one of the questions you can ask yourself before you're creating the content or when you're starting to think about the ideas is, what structure do I want this to be? Do I want it to be kind of like a list post? Do I want it to be like a 1, 2, 3 step? This is the step, like a recipe post. Do I want it to just be a bunch of links or a bunch of resources that I'm bringing together? So thinking about that structure in a way, just kind of like a book, what is going to help the information get across and what is going to contain all that amazing creativity that you spent time on. This doesn't mean that your post has to be structured, but it really helps because people do tend to consume content better when they understand what they're dealing with. If it's a list post, if it's a step post, if it's like the top 5 tips, that sort of thing, that can help people just retain and be interested in continuing to read your content. Tip number 5 is all about seeing if what you're creating has any duplicate content out there. And this is something a lot of people miss. So you have this great idea, you have maybe a title in your head and you just start writing it. A good first step before getting into the creation is just doing a little bit of field research and seeing, has anybody else written about this in this way? And especially with the title post, if you can make that title post really just something no one has said in that way, it could just be a game changer. So just Google the title, Google how you're planning to talk about it and see what else is out there. See what your competition is. And if it is a smaller site, then it's worth it for you. So yeah, just looking at, what is the competition around this topic and the way that I'm approaching it and the specific wording I'm using. And you can also do this for if you're creating a course or some sort of service or product. I've done this before where I've just Googled, has anyone talked about SEO like this? Has anybody, do they have a service that's called this? Because if you can make a service that no one has named like that before, it's just awesome. And this can also work for if you're coining phrases or creating a special approach. This can help, again, people just, you're known for that specific way of speaking about your topic. We're on to the 6th tip, and this is definitely important for SEO. It's all about finding unique and appropriate keywords for your website. So when I say appropriate, I want to clarify that not all keywords are a good match for your website. That's because some keywords just have really high competition and you're competing against big sites. You might be competing against the New York Times. Now, if your site is as big as the New York Times, then good for you. That's great. We want to find keywords that we actually have a chance to reach with our website. So this is actually something that I have in many of my services, but the one that I like to focus on the most is my SEO Season Society. So this is a membership service, and every 3 months you get 5 keywords that you can work with that are specifically unique and custom to your site. So me and my team find these keywords for you, and we tell you how to use them so that you can create content based off these keywords. This is the thing that I see small business owners struggle with the most. Just trying to find those keywords, and it does take time to know how to find keywords and where to look for them and all that. So I take away that issue for you. I give you the keywords that I know you'll rank in, and you can just create content and you don't need to worry about the rest. Finding those keywords is really important, and making sure that they align with everything else you're doing in your business. Okay, and then I have a bonus tip, number 7. So this one is interesting, but again, some of you might have thought of this, is to give yourself space and time and energy to experiment and try different things. A lot of the times we just get stuck in a rut with our content and we're not really excited by it. So if you feel like you're in that place, the truth is, if you're not excited by it, it doesn't benefit your clients and your audience either. So it is your job to get excited, to find something that you love to talk about in a way that you like to talk about. So the best way to approach it is to think about, how can you experiment with a different voice? How can you get inspired in a different way? Again, going back to the tips that I mentioned, finding a new space, or maybe just cleaning out your inbox will clean out your brain too. But don't be afraid of trying different things. Your audience wants to be surprised. They want to hear things in a different way, and in a way that resonates with you. That's really something that people capture right off the bat. So if you want to just try something different, go ahead, see how it goes, document how you feel, and then you can keep doing it or not. But that's part of creating content, and it's part of all companies experiment and try different styles and see what fits for them. I hope these tips helped you. If you want to find out more about what I do and the SEO Season Society, you can go to digitalbloomiq.com, and have a great day.